Kia ora and welcome to this Nutrition Chat presentation, Your Food and Mood, How Food Affects Thinking, Feeling and Mental Wellbeing. My name is Charisse, I'm the nutritionist for Harbour Sport. First off, we have two brains, one in our head and the other known as the gut brain or enteric brain. This is made up of all the components of our digestive system, and the two communicate or talk to one another by chemical messengers and hormones. What happens in our guts can affect what happens in our brain and vice versa. You might have experienced having the feeling of butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous, or if you're under a lot of stress or prolonged stress, that you experience digestive upsets. You might have also found that some foods can lead you to have foggy thinking. And this is all to do with how the two brains communicate to one another. What's happening in the guts and how does it have an effect on the brain? We have trillions of bacteria in our digestive system. It's estimated that they may number 10 to 1 to the rest of our body cells, which is a huge amount. We have a mix of helpful bacteria, probiotics, and these release chemicals that stimulate the release of other feel-good chemicals in the brain. They also support our immune system, help our body functions to happen as they're meant to, and can help with weight loss and maintenance. Harmful bacteria, on the other hand, which we call pathogens, can release toxins that can depress mood, make weight loss more difficult, contribute to inflammation in the body, and contribute to poor immunity. The bacteria fluctuate in number and type depending on our lifestyle, and all of us have a unique makeup of different strains, thousands of different types of bacteria. And we can change these based on what our lifestyle looks like and what we're doing there. What we do makes the difference between having more beneficial or more harmful bacteria. It's important that we get the balance right, that we have beneficial bacteria, the probiotics outweigh the harmful pathogen bacteria. To do this, we need to have plenty of fibre in our diets. Fibre is the part of the plant that our body doesn't digest so well to get the energy from, but the beneficial bacteria love this stuff. That's what helps them grow, thrive, and populate. As they break down fibre, they release different chemicals and fatty acids into our body, which have an effect on other parts of our body and hormone receptors to produce chemicals that support our overall well-being. Along with plenty of fibre, we need to have lots of different colours in vegetables and fruit because this also provides a lot of nutrients, particularly B vitamins, that support our wellness, including the release of the feel-good chemicals in our brain. Regular exercise also supports the beneficial bacteria being plentiful, and we also need to hydrate with water. As we'll see in a minute, lots of sugar, including in drinks, is not so great for the beneficial bacteria. Good quality sleep also affects the balance of having beneficial bacteria over the harmful bacteria. So overall, we need to have lots of variety of food to help diversity of types of bacteria. The more diverse makeup we have of those strains, the better. On the other hand, harmful bacteria thrives in diets that are high in saturated fat, salt, sugar, and lots of white flour. So if we're having a lot of those, we are more likely to have a higher amount of the harmful pathogen bacteria. And someone that might experience a lot of inflammation or wounds that won't heal, or even ongoing or frequent yeast infections might have an imbalance of the right bacteria in their gut. Poor sleep, high stress, high alcohol and caffeine consumption, they also contribute to having more harmful bacteria, the pathogens, than the helpful beneficial bacteria. So what we do in our daily life really does affect this balance. To get fibre, one of the ways is to have low and slow carbs. By low, we mean low glycemic index or low GI. This means that they are foods that break down slowly to glucose, so there's a more even spread of the release of glucose into the blood. The high fibre also keeps the helpful, beneficial gut bacteria happy, and it's thought that the carbohydrates stimulate tryptophan, which is a mood-boosting chemical in our body. It's important that we try and choose whole grain sources of carbohydrates as much as possible and be sensible about our portions. So this is looking at mood boosters or downers. First off, caffeine. We know that it can make us more energetic, alert, and thinking quickly, and it stimulates the feel-good hormone dopamine to be released. But too much can heighten feelings of anxiety because it increases our heart rate and it has an effect on our blood vessels. And it also can disrupt sleep. So even if you can sleep after you've had caffeine, you might not be getting a good quality sleep. So it's important to try and reduce the amount of caffeine and limit to a maximum of 4 long black coffees a day, or have even less if you are prone to anxiety or have heart rate issues or you're sensitive to caffeine. Sugar can also have a similar effect. It stimulates feel-good chemicals and increases our energy for a little while, but the effect is short-lived and you might feel worse afterwards. The sugar crash, which can leave you feeling foggy, lethargic, or some people even find that they're irritable when they've stopped eating sugar. So choose low and slow sources of carbohydrates instead of the quick solution of sugar. Alcohol. Initially, for many people, it can help relax them, loosen them up, help them have some fun, but chemically, it's known as a depressant. So it can contribute to feelings of low mood, anxiety, or sadness. It also disrupts the quality of your sleep due to its dehydrating effect. So it can affect your overall mental well-being in the long run if you consume it too much or in large amounts, too often or in large amounts. So aim to reduce alcohol intake, and if you are someone that has it frequently, look to building other tools for self-care and relaxation. Oily fish such as sardines, salmon, herrings, mackerel, etc. are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which our brain loves. Even tinned ones do the trick, so try to include fish in your diet a couple of times a week. Vegetables and grains, they are high in in B vitamins, a whole variety of those, which among other things support the production of feel-good chemicals. And as we said, they're high in fibre, which the helpful, beneficial bacteria really love. Starchy carbohydrates like kumara and potatoes are also thought to be really good in terms of boosting the feel-good chemical tryptophan. They often get a bad rap about being included in the diet, but as long as you're being sensible about portions and preparing them in a healthy way, so not deep fried, they're fine to include in your diet. Just briefly, here's 10 of the best foods for mood. Yogurt, this is to do with the probiotics, the helpful bacteria that are in the yogurt, and it's also low GI, so it gives you an even spread of energy. Fermented foods, these have probiotics and what we call prebiotic, which is the fibre that the healthy gut bacteria like to feed off. So those are really good foods to include in your diet. It might be things like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, kefir. A lot of those are really popular now. Pearl barley, this is a grain that has a lot of resistant fibre that the helpful bacteria really like. And it's also low GI, so it's very filling, but it's a slow release of energy. It's a great one to have in the cupboard for winter, because you can just add a handful or so to soups and stews. It provides some fibre, some protein, it bulks up the meal, and it's also got a really nice nutty flavour. Extra virgin olive oil, this has been studied a lot in Mediterranean areas, and it's shown to improve overall well-being in a major way and ease depressive symptoms. It's also got the great fatty acids for our brain and our heart health. Legumes, these are really high in fibre and protein. So legumes are our dried peas, beans and lentils group. So they're really cost effective in bulking up meat dishes without the extra cost of meat, but it's also adding a lot of fibre for the gut bacteria to live on, and it's also really helpful just to boost one of the happy hormones, serotonin. We've got dark chocolate included here, which I'm sure a number of people are happy about. The thought is that it's got very high antioxidant levels. So antioxidants are protective compounds that are in foods that support our body to be protected against the oxidative damage that happens every day, breakdown in our body that happens just naturally, but is also heightened by illness, exercise, stress, pollution. So antioxidants help our body to be protected from that. And also thought to boost our mood because chocolate has fat and sugar in it, which stimulate feel-good hormones. But I would err on the side of having dark chocolate over white or milk chocolate, because you'll get a lot less fat and sugar in dark chocolate. But bearing in mind, even dark chocolate's still a treat, so being sensible about how much you have it. As mentioned before, oily fish are really high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are great for the brain as well as the heart, and they reduce inflammation in our bodies. Leeks is a great vegetable that have a particular prebiotic, so the special fibre that the helpful bacteria live on. And they're also good for people that might be sensitive to onions and garlic. They come from the same plant family, the allium family, but they have a less potent effect. So they're really good for including in stews, soups. You can stir fry them or even have them raw as part of a salad. Nuts are a great brain food and mood booster. They're brimming with good for you fats. So they boost your brain function, your memory and your mood. So aim for around 30 grams, which is a small handful in the palm of your hand, of unroasted in plain or unsalted nuts. So it's better to have them in smaller batches because the oils can go rancid if you keep them for too long. But have them unsalted and unroasted as well, so that you're reducing your sodium content. And finally, it's really important that we have plenty of water. So that helps with all our body functions. And it's also a key to having clear, quick thinking, as well as improving your concentration and overall energy. It's thought that even 1% drop in body water can have really significant noticeable effects on your concentration and your energy levels, as well as how you're feeling and your mood. And we're losing water all the time, so it's important to keep on top of having water. So some people like to measure it by number of glasses or filling a couple of bottles and going through that over the day. But the best indicator is when you go to the bathroom, have a look at the colour of your pee. If it's clear or pale yellow, you've got plenty of water. If it's a darker colour, just have a drink and then see how it is again in another couple of hours. So finally, we land on this slide. We know that looking after our mental well-being is not just about food. There's lots of other factors that play into it in our lifestyle. So we've already mentioned good quality sleep supports the beneficial bacteria being the most prominent in our gut. And one way to make sure we have good quality sleep is reducing our blue light exposure before bed. So blue light is what comes from computer screens, phones, TV. So turning those off at least an hour before bed is a good thing, because the blue light can disrupt the production of melatonin, which is the brain chemical that tells the body when it's time to wind down and go to sleep. So disrupting that can mean that you have a poorer sleep quality. So turn your screens off at least an hour before bed. Having regular exercise, as we mentioned, it supports the beneficial bacteria to grow and populate. It also helps release dopamine and serotonin. So even if you're feeling a bit tired, you also get a bit of a buzz from exercising. And also, particularly if you get outside, it helps to clear out the cobwebs and give you clearer thinking, less foggy. Spending time in nature, that's shown to have a calming effect. Just being able to look and listen and feel the sensation of the wind and the sun, all those sorts of things. Interaction with others, we're wired to be in community, so it's really important that we do spend time with others. Another one is laughing. So it's estimated that children laugh around 400 times a day on average, whereas a lot of adults, it is more like 30 times a day on average, and some people even less. So we'd all probably do better to laugh more. Sunshine, we know that just the light and the warmth have a positive effect on our mood and our feeling, but also things like the UV light stimulates the production of vitamin D in our body, which supports good mental health and positive mood, but it's also important for our bone strength and our immune system. So getting out in the sunshine, even for a little bit of time, is a great thing, but please be sensible around sun exposure time and whether or not you need to cover up for skin safety. Along that, natural light, it has the opposite effect as the melatonin, so it stimulates the brain and the body to know when it's time to be awake and alert and functioning. So open the curtains as soon as possible after you get up in the morning. This helps your brain and your body to get into a good rhythm of when it's meant to be awake, productive work time, and when it's meant to be wind down, relax, rest time at night. So opening the curtains, getting some light into the house helps with that as soon as possible after you get up. And finally, new learning is a real mood booster. So it might feel challenging and maybe a bit frustrating to begin with, but the sense of achievement and pride when you're getting better in something, it can be anything really that is new to you. The new learning is a really good mood booster. We use the Healthy Food Guide in the Active for Life team all the time. It's an amazing resource with thousands of recipes, news articles, topic advice, all written by well-qualified health experts. And we offer this as a subscription to the website access for $19 for a full 12 months access. So if you'd like to look at this as a purchase, then please let us know. If you've got questions or concerns and you'd like to discuss them more, then please email nutrition@harboursport.co.nz. Thanks for listening to this presentation.